Hi, everybody. My name's Jennifer J. Raffloer, and today I am with Miss Sophia Leva-Marie, self-love tour guide and pleasure concierge of nurturing divine beauty. Hi, Sophia.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having me, Jennifer. I'm excited that you invited me to play with you.
Absolutely. I'm so excited too because we've been buddies for a while, and to actually co-create together like this is just a golden opportunity. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, Sophia, the purpose of our meeting today really was to share why mastering your sexual energy is not an option.
Yes.
But before we dive into that, I was wondering if you could share with our viewers a little bit about your personal evolution and your healing story.
Mm. Well, I didn't actually come into this willingly. I actually dragged my feet. When I learned that sacred sexuality was part of my path, I was like, really? Can't I be like a cake decorator or something? But it actually was a natural evolution. I personally experienced both rape and incest in my history. And then I also had kind of self-created traumas because of how I dealt with that. I went from like the pendulum of promiscuous behavior to shutting off my sexual energy completely. And I actually created a lot of problems for myself. So it was in that unraveling period and path that I actually got to learn that sexual energy actually is necessary. Whereas in today's society, we kind of relegate it to just the bedroom, but it's actually here to create life. And that's how I got to evolve through that in healing. I mean, I pretty much did everything wrong. And I put that in quotes. But I mean, I had stuff with money, I had the promiscuity, I had the health problems, even to where I was told I had 2 weeks to live. I kind of played everything out on how it manifested in my life and in my body. And then I had to unravel that and come to the path of how I actually could access it after healing it.
So 2 weeks to live.
Yes. And that was just over 7 years ago. I mean, I think about a week and seven years ago. So obviously I decided that didn't work for me.
Goosebumps. No, it did not work for you, thankfully.
Yes.
Oh, so what did you do those 2 weeks? How did you flip that from 2 weeks to I am not going anywhere?
Well, first, it became a decision because when the doctor told me, my kind of reaction was blank. I was kind of like, well, shit. And that was it. Like, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't, panicked. I was just like blank. And then I was like, okay, I have to actually choose if I'm actually going to do this, because it certainly would have been easier to let go and be like, okay, I have 2 weeks. Well, that's nice. I'll just let it ride and then let it stop. Or I'm actually going to choose to do what it takes to have this unravel in my body. And that's what I chose. And I had to choose to let everything go. I let my healing practice go. I let my clients go. I let work go. And literally for 3 months, all I did was be with my body and walk on the beach, on the boardwalk on the beach. I had to let everything go because how I was doing life was literally killing me. So I had to let that go, kind of restructure how I was showing up in life, and then decide where to go from there.
Amazing. Oh, I love the beach piece. Oh,
Yes. I needed,
wow.
I needed that. Ocean and water has always been really special to me, but I just needed kind of like that blank space. And that's really where I was. I was kind of on that reset point where I just was like, okay, what's important to me? And at this point, or at that point rather, I had to choose to live and live differently because the way I was living was actually killing me.
And the energy at the beach is just full creative force and so supportive to your intentions.
Yes.
All those, little pieces of sand, they're crystals. They're amplifiers of energy, and the sun and the waves and the wind. And oh my gosh, I'm feeling it.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
And in that intention, I had to, okay, what do I need to bring into my life to actually live differently, to live more in the flow, to actually access my power and have a different way of life, a different way with my body, a different way with my sexuality. And what came up was really the sexual piece. So I spent a lot of time on healing that. And then it was like, okay, how do I actually kind of tiptoe my way back into intimacy? Because that's what it was for me. So I actually started with sexual practices like the jade egg practice. There's something called orgasmic meditation, where a woman receives having her clit stroked for 15 minutes. And it's not transactional, which is often what we're taught, but it's really an energetic practice of opening your body and just receiving. So I personally started there in my journey.
Wow. So you had to pick somebody for that?
Well, it was actually a practice I learned in California at the time. It's actually worldwide. They do it. And yes, I had partners. I had 2 partners that I practiced with for quite some time.
Oh my gosh. I've never heard of such a thing. Oh.
Well, let me tell you. No, I'm kidding.
Are you still practicing?
I do. Actually for some time I didn't practice. After a while it kind of let me at a different set point, and then I didn't practice. But then when I was in Boston sometime last year, I actually reintegrated the practice into my life. So yes.
Okay. And the jade egg?
Yes, it's actually a stone egg. I have a jade egg. I have a rose quartz egg. Stones are actually conductive properties, and they each have their own essences that they bring. And you actually insert the egg, and you can do healing practices as well as sexual practices to access and heal your energy.
Okay. So how did you come across these techniques and tools?
Mm. Well, when you open yourself to having more, to having a different life, they kind of come to you naturally. For instance, with the Om practice, a friend of mine invited me, and I had no idea what it was before I even went to the class, but it just felt like I had that like kind of energetic ping. So I just followed the energy. So it's actually, I think, about making the decision that you're going to have this, or you're going to operate a different way. And then the universe will actually kind of breadcrumb the steps to you. And when you follow them, you'll be led to exactly what you need. And, there are thousands of practices. Those are just 2 of them.
Yeah.
And your practices and someone else's practices may look completely different. It's just what you're actually led to.
So after those 2 practices, what was your next step to further and healing?
So, along with those practices, I was also engaging in other healing practices because, as I said, I did have other things in my history to heal as well. So I was actually going down a path of being part of the Magdalene kind of lineage and doing some healing there. And I actually had a huge healing at 38. I knew that I had had sexual abuse at age 8. Not until I did this practice did I know that it was my father at 38. So it was unraveling that. And
Wow.
continuing on. So again, it's exactly what you're led to. There are pieces for you. We never know why we do something. We never know why we're led to something. But if you actually follow the energy and you learn to create trust in yourself by following that energy, you open yourself to the healing and you open yourself to the energy.
I agree with you that trust is so important. But
Yes.
we're so programmed to not trust from inside, but to trust from outside, and we give our power away. It's quite common.
Exactly.
So to make that transition, it's a little tricky at first because you don't trust yourself.
Exactly. And I love what you said about we give our power away. That's why your sexual creative energy is actually necessary. It's imperative for you to have, because we so often think our sexual energy is either about masturbation, intercourse, or creating a child. And that's where we leave it. But what I like to say is sexual energy is here to create your life. So instead of actually just focusing in on pleasure in the bedroom, what if you actually start to fuel that in your life? And when you have that area in your body, that's actually your creativity, that's your power. And when you don't have that power, you actually look for it from others. You may have emasculation, like say if you're a woman, you emasculate men. You may have jealousy with other women because you're always looking for that power outside of yourself and you're trying to take it back in an improper way. So when you actually have that power, then you are coming from within, as you said, rather than looking outside of yourself.
Beautiful. So just to clarify for our viewers, sexual energy is the same as Kundalini energy, is the same as chi, is the same as prana?
Yes, it is your life force. So you have this life force that's continually flowing through your body. But as I said, we use it to, a small percentage of our life around sexuality. But sacred sexuality is more than just sex. It's about creating your life. It's about using that life force to fuel your relationships, your purpose, your business, because you have this active life force through your body. So if you're actually not accessing it, you're not accessing your full potential. You're not living your fullest, most beautiful technicolor life. You have kind of like that muted fractional piece of your life. Even if it looks great, if you're not accessing that, you still are marginalizing the power that you have.
How do you become aware of this energy? How do you actually feel it and know what it is?
It's really important to create communion with your body. So often we kind of look at our bodies as something to drag around, something to drag to the gym. You kind of you stand up and you're eating quickly. You're so kind of out of connection with your body. But your body is this beautiful vehicle that allows us to experience life. It's also kind of like a tuning fork. It has the awareness of the intuition without judgment. Our mind is what has the judgment. So our mind can lie to us, but our body won't lie to us. Okay. So if you actually start to get into practices that allow you to be with your body, to actually have that awareness with your body, such as meditation, such as breath work, such as different exercises. I mean, I'm here in the moment playing in Seattle, and I'm just trying all sorts of different things. I mean, I tried kickboxing a couple days ago, which I told the teacher I hated her, but thank you for the class.
Probably would have said same.
And, I'm trying a Pilates class, and it's not to get anywhere. It's just to get to play in my body, to have that kind of still place in my body where I can hear that intuition. Because we go so fast, we're picking up the kids, we're, cramming in food between clients, we're driving here and there, and we kind of forget to slow down. And when in the slowdown, you actually get to access that intuition. And how you access that intuition is getting in your body. And also another kind of clarification around that, we also think that we're only our body. Instead of actually expanding out and knowing that everything you see, everything in consciousness, everything in the universe is you, meaning you can access all of that. We relegate it to, I have this small body, I'm powerless, I'm at the effect of everything. Whereas when you actually connect to your sexual energy, you are connected to everything. You're connected to consciousness. The reason I came to Seattle was to experience playing with wolves. I didn't actually even know it was a thing. But for months, I kept being led wolf. I mean, I would see it in pictures. I would go on a date. I went to a bar, all these different things, like wolf was in my face. And I know, that's how my energy shows up when something really is for me. So a friend of mine told me, she's like, oh my God, I just heard about this thing where you can actually go run with wolves. So I came to Seattle to do that. And it was a phenomenal experience. And I think my biggest takeaway from that was really about trusting your instincts. Like they actually model that. Like they're so individual, yet they're so in tune with the pack or the community. And that's what it is. When you're so embodied, when you're so in your power, when you're so in that creative energy, you so trust your own instincts, and those instincts come from being connected to everything. And that's what we really want to connect. And that's what we really want to start to create with, is being on our individual path, yet so trusting of our instincts that we actually have access and awareness of the entirety of consciousness.
Beautiful. So did you actually put on sneakers and run with them?
I did. I did. Yes, I did. I did have pictures and everything. It was really amazing. And it's actually something I want to do again personally, and something I'm actually going to incorporate into a retreat next year for clients, because it was so profound, even on a level that I can't articulate. And it's still kind of integrating with my body and will continue to do so. But it was really so beautiful and so primally activating of my own cells.
Did you notice any difference between the male and female wolves and how they responded to you?
I actually had two of the males like really stare into my eyes. And it was really interesting having that masculine energy. And I mean, I sat there for minutes and they're just staring into my eyes. And it was just that connection. And it was like, okay, this is the energy of bringing forward. But of course, you need the mix of it, the feminine and the masculine. But I did notice that. And it was just such a beautiful experience to have, and have
Sounds
again.
like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. I'm so happy for you. I'm a little bit envious as well.
Well, come play. I mean, the universe has placed me here for a few more weeks, so I'm going to definitely go again. And
nice.
It's something I would say, if you're interested in learning to see it modeled for you, because so often these days we're not taught that. We're taught to give our power to a guru or a religion, or to live in the status quo, to have, people tell us what we're to think or what to do or that. Whereas we need to see that modeled. And it was such a beautiful kind of outpicturing of the instinct. And, they weren't even talking to each other, but it was like one would kind of start to run and then the others would just kind of go, and they ran together. But they were so connected. And we can have that. We can have all of life contribute to us. We can have that sexual energy from all of life contribute to us. We can have that intuition and that access to the energy to create with our lives. So instead of just using, a small bit of energy in our life, what if you could have access to your entire essence as well as the entire universe? And that's what's possible.
And the thing about the wolves, when they're connected to one another, they're going within to get that.
Exactly.
They're not going without looking for a guru. You know what I'm saying? It's all within.
Yes.
More cohesive that way, more natural. Oh, what a beautiful model. Yes. Oh, you hit the jack that one.
I did. And I was led there. And, I didn't know what it was. I knew I just kept saying wolf. So I just kept asking the universe, okay, show me what that is. Show me what that is. And the universe finally, dropped it into my life so I could experience it. And now I get to have it permeate through my cells and then bring it forward.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, how do we access or connect to our Kundalini sexual energy?
Again, it's that connection to the body. If you would like, I can take you just through a couple-minute exercise just to feel it for yourself.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so just take a deep breath and close your eyes and really connect to your spatial awareness. Feel the temperature in the air on your skin. Are there any scents? Are there any smells? Really feel your body where it's connected to where you're sitting. Let's start to breathe. I do breaths a little differently. I'd love you to breathe into your womb. And it does not matter if you're a man or woman, because again, this is your creative space. So breathe into your womb, spiral it up your spine to activate that Kundalini energy, and then breathe out of your heart. We want all of these areas connected. So again, breathe into your womb, spiral up your spine, and breathe out of your heart. And your body has between 50 and 100 trillion cells. That's, let's say there's 75 trillion cells. That's more than 10,000 times the amount of humans there are on the earth. So just feel into that you have 75 trillion contributors to your life to want to play with you, who have come to actually create with you. And as if you could open those 75 trillion cells as if they're windows. And again, you're still breathing through. And as if all of life could start to contribute energy and sexual creative energy. So you're pulling energy 360 degrees from the cosmos, from the earth, from all planets, all beings. Every single molecule of life is contributing sexual creative energy to you. And you're just pulling that into your 75 trillion cells. It's just flooding in. And start to pulse and contract your own pelvic region to connect your own sexual essence. And again, all of life is contributing to your body, to your creative process. And if you feel, I don't feel energy, or I don't know if anything's happening, what if you could actually just set aside the skepticism? What if you could feel it? As if there's a dial in front of you that gives yourself permission to receive it and to feel it. Let's turn that up. And turn it up some more. And turn it up some more. Again, all of life is flooding into your cells. And what does that feel like to you? Does it feel like champagne bubbles? Or does it feel like laughter? Does it feel like tickling? Whatever it feels like for you, again, just turn that up. And then turning your awareness, without contracting, you're still receiving space. Turn your awareness to your womb. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman, your womb is what houses your desires. Well, just one of the things that it does. But just start to think of your desires. Is it a lover? Is it a new home? Is it travel? Is it connecting more deeply to your purpose, or even knowing what it is? Is it a deeper relationship with your children? Does it flow with money? And actually feel that energy moving. And again, as if all of life actually kind of focused its energy towards your womb. So again, all of life is contributing energy towards your desires. Feel your womb being filled up with that energy, your own body flowing with your own sexual essence. And from the top of your head, feeling a cool breath of Holy Spirit, that enlivening breath of God or Spirit or universe, breathing life into that energy, breathing life into your desires. And then, as if your womb was a bowl, as if you could tip it. So you're tipping those now fueled desires through your entire body, and then reflecting that out. So again, as if those 75 trillion cells are reflecting out as mirrors. So it's reflecting it through the room you're in, and then the building you're in, and then the city you're in, and the country you're in. Let it flood through the entire planet. And continue on to the outside edges of your being, which is kind of a misnomer because there actually are no boundaries. So all of this is you. All of this is space. Your desires, your sexual creative energy, your essence, and being contributed to with all of life, this is all of you. So without contracting the energy, just gently close your cells so that you're embodying this energy. It's still flowing through you, fueling your body, fueling your life. And then just take 3 of those deep breaths. So again, breathe into your womb, spiral it up your spine, and breathe out of your heart. And again, and one last time, breathe in your womb, up your spine, and breathe out of your heart. And then become aware once again, the temperature in the air, the scents, the sounds. Feel your body really grounding, as if the earth kind of had suction cups to really ground this energy through your body. And just kind of take a mental scan. Does your body feel different? Does your energy feel different? And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
I'm back. Wow.
So So how did that feel for you, since you're kind of the model for speaking it?
I'm the
How
guinea
did that?
pig, huh?
Exactly.
Well, electric.
Mm,
If I had to choose one word, it was electric. And it's a little bit hard to concentrate and focus knowing that I am being recorded at the moment and that at some point many eyes will be on me with my eyes shut doing a meditation. So I'm sure I wasn't 100% in it, but it did feel electric, and I'm looking forward to doing it again without all eyes on me.
well,
But yeah,
just
never experienced a meditation the way you did it, and very grateful because it's new technique. I think combining the heart, the womb, and the spine is huge. Oh my God,
yes,
so huge. I don't know
yes,
many people that do that.
yes,
So
yeah.
you have a lot of expertise.
Well, I always kind of found that, I mean, I've studied like dozens and dozens and dozens of modalities, and a lot of them teach the heart. But I was feeling like there was a missing piece. And, even in the spiritual world, we're taught, oh, it's all about the heart. But you actually need to bring in your sexual energy, which is your creativity, which is your power, and you need to ground both of that in to have access to all of you, not just the heart.
Your creative force, your spine, which is your channel,
Yes.
rod.
Yes.
Yes, and then your heart. Wow, beautiful. So grateful. Thank
You're so welcome.
you. A free gift, and it's not even Christmas.
Well,
Everybody enjoys their free gift.
yes. What if it could be Christmas every day?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Wow. So let's see. Back to why mastering your sexual energy is not an option. So, how do we master it?
Mm,
We're aware of it. We can feel it. We can connect.
yes.
How do we master that and get it where we need it to go without driving us insane?
Yes. So again, it's about practice. We have these kind of habituated practices where we give our power away, or where we're kind of rushing through life. But if you actually slow down, I mean, that was just a few minute practice. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to go into it that deeply, or you can actually expand it out and play with it. So what if you actually just took a few moments every moment, every day, and are like, how can I connect more into this energy? Because again, you have access to all energies, all consciousness, and that leads you to having the most expansive, beautiful, magnetic life. And when you're actually in that connection space, when you're in joy, that actually leads you to having that. So that's why I actually, with my clients, lead with pleasure. Because pleasure, it's an activating force because it's what you desire to have, but it also naturally brings up what's in the way. So we don't actually go through your history and like, okay, what happened when you were 3 and what happened when you were 12 and, the boyfriend that dumped you at 20 or whatever it was. It's you actually activate pleasure and what you desire in your life. And then what's in the way naturally comes up.
Okay.
And what's in the way naturally comes up. So you don't have to look for things that are stopping you. You just have to activate how you desire to live and what you're really wanting to create. And then what kind of comes up, the dross that's keeping that not being in your life, will automatically come up. So again, it's that practice of pleasure. It's the practice of getting in your body. It's the practice of, oh, I actually have all this energy, this power in me. I believe they say that, in each cell we have the energy to fuel a city or a state. So again, we have 75 trillion contributors to our life, yet we think, I don't have any power, I can't do this, I'm all on my own. But your body is this living vehicle that shows you you're not alone. So what if you actually start to tap into it, tap into that energy, because you literally have the power within you, and then see where you're led. Because, it may be a jade egg practice, it may be the Om practice, it may be a million other things that are perfect just for you. But if you start to activate that within yourself, you're naturally led to what will open your body and your energy to access more of it.
So I know you're very strong with awareness and empowerment. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on STDs, sexually transmitted demons?
So often we, again, are disconnected from our bodies. Our bodies are so aware, and so often we don't listen. Mm-hmm. But when we actually create that communion with our body, I can give you an example. I don't think it was last year. I think it was the year before. I slept with someone, and during the course of being together, his energy turned off. He went soft during our interaction. And later we're kind of talking after, and he was like, there was one moment when I wanted to get you pregnant. And I was like, my body is so awesome, because my body turned off his energy. It was like, no, not happening. Yeah. So it was being so connected to my body. Your body can actually choose. Your body has that power. Your body can, especially as a woman, we're the masters of the sexual energy in the relationship. So the more you connect to your body, you have more awareness. You also have more choice. And we all have those things where, oh, I should have listened. I knew that I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have slept with that person, but I did because, he was there, or, she offered, or whatever. And, and it's just, we kind of get in the practice of being so kind of disconnected from the moment. You're just kind of floating through life. But if you actually really connect to that awareness, you won't actually attract those things, because you're so in your awareness that you just don't have those as acceptable in your life.
Okay. Perfect. Anything else that you would like to add, Sophia?
I just would love people to accept the invitation on accessing their sexual energy. Because again, you have literally the power of universes within you. You have access to all the intuition, all the power, and you're not using it. And it affects every single area of your life. Are you experiencing where you're laying next to your lover and you virtually become roommates? Are you experiencing that you're struggling with your purpose? You can't really connect to the pieces. Are you in this feast or famine with money? Are you just kind of fumbling through your relationships with your kids or your partner or your family because you're not standing in your own power or your own boundaries? These are symptoms of not accessing your own power. So it's so important not to think that sexual energy is just about sex. It's about your livelihood. It's about your purpose. It's about how you interact with your partner and your children, how you show up in life. And it's just so important that you stop looking at it as optional or as something, you access maybe, a couple times a week or whatever, whenever it happens. Even if you have a wonderful sex life, that doesn't mean you're tapped into your sexual energy. So it's so important because it is actually your fuel for your life. It's not just about pleasure in the moment. It's about fueling your life and having a life of pleasure, a life of beauty, a life of that connection and embodied experience as the divine that we were here to actually experience.
Wow. That was beautiful. First,
Yeah.
all these connections, trouble at home with your kids, trouble at work, and it all relates to your sexual energy and
Yes.
boundaries and not having or being in your power.
Yes.
If you're not in your power, where are you getting your power from? It's not coming from within, you're grabbing it from without. And as we know from experience, that's never a good thing. It never has a good outcome. Well, it does have a good outcome because we learn the lessons that we need to learn.
Yes.
But the majority of us, we're done with learning those lessons. We need to move forward.
Yes. Yes. And it's deciding, okay, I'm going to have all of me. And I'm going to actually do what it takes to have everything, not making excuses, not, giving our power away to money or to your husband, needs to come on board, or, oh, I have all these things with my kids. Again, you are the leader of your life. And are you actually leading? If you don't have your power, you're not leading. You're being led around by something else that has a stranglehold on you. So you get to choose, and you get to choose again. So it's so imperative that you actually choose to have this energy for yourself as a person, as a conscious leader, as a parent, as an entrepreneur, because we are here to change the world. And first, you do it just by being, and you need to actually be all of you to affect people in the best way possible. I think my coach says that, just by who you are, not even emoting or doing anything, we affect 18,000 people. So if you're in the struggle, if you're not putting in boundaries, if you're kind of having this lackluster status quo life, or if you're settling, that's how you're affecting consciousness. And you get to choose. Do you want to actually have the life you desire? Do you actually want to show up in your partnerships and your friendships, in your business relationships, in your parenting as all of you? Because being is what creates change. Being is the example, because you can say whatever, but if you're not doing it, it doesn't match. Like you're a parent, your kids do what you do rather than what you say. So what example are you being in the world? How do you want to affect those 18,000 people? And that's just by who you are. It's not, you don't have to do anything. It's just what magnetism do you have as that person? So
Okay.
when you're fully empowered, when you actually have access, when you're connected to everything, trusting your instincts, when you're leading with pleasure and joy, you are magnetic as that. You get to experience more, you get to have more, you get to show up more, and you get to have that ripple effect that really changes consciousness on a level to have everyone starting to have the life they desire. But it starts with us.
So what's the relationship to having a very high sex drive, our sexual energy and our boundaries and our power? If we're constantly releasing that, how does that affect our day-to-day life?
Well, you can actually start to have sex with all of life. And having sex with all of life doesn't mean, like humping everything like a dog. It is actually having that energy, again, fuel your body. Because again, you can have that energy, but as you said, if you're always putting it out, where are you having it in your body? So it's actually having those practices of actually starting to have it flow through your body. And then you get to choose how you want to infuse it into your life. You can actually start to infuse it into your business practices. I have some clients I tell like to self-pleasure before they get on a call, or, before they go on stage, or before they start writing. Getting into that open, receptive, magnetic place, you get to actually fuel your life through that instead of always putting it out. It doesn't mean that you won't have, or you'll have a lesser sex drive. I have a very high one myself. And how do I want to use it? Do I want to always use it with a partner, or do I always want to be with myself first and actually fuel my life, and then I get to choose who I want to express it with physically?
Whoa. Okay, so having a large sex drive is healthy, it sounds like.
Yes, it can be healthy. It's looking underneath. So is the sexual drive actually that energy flowing through your body, or is it actually trying to get approval? Is it actually trying to relegate everything to sex? So it's looking underneath. What's actually that drive? Is it actually your body and your fuel, or is it actually, again, trying to get something from that sex drive?
And then what about zero sex drive? What's that indicative of?
So that's indicative of trauma. It's indicative of, again, being disconnected with your body. It's indicative that you aren't actually connected to your life force. Again, we have life force flowing through us, yet we become so disconnected. I mean, I certainly had that. I mean, there were certain times when I had like no interest in sex. It was because I was so disconnected from my life force that was like the last thing on my mind. And you can also start to do different practices. Again, it's getting in your body. As a woman, do you need to look at your hormones? What's your nutrition like? What are the sexual practices, as well as the practices of connecting to your intuition, connecting to energy, connecting to all of life, because everything really is intermingled. Again, I so want to point out sexuality isn't just about sex. It's about your connection, your life force in life. So if you're not actually feeling it, I guarantee it's showing up somewhere else in your life.
Okay.
Because it goes through everything. It's showing up in your money. It's showing up in your relationships. You are cut off from your energy. So it's having that piece of, okay, I actually need to take these steps to see where I'm cutting off my energy. So it's like, okay, show me, universe. Where do I need to go? Who do I need to talk to? What book do I need to read? What nutrient do I need to bring in my body? So you actually start to connect in, because you are cut off somewhere in your energy, and it's across the board.
Okay. I know some other teachings teach that a high sex drive and being motivated to pair with people over and over again, different people, is indicative of a hyperdimensional force, such as a sexual demon that's siphoning that energy that is released during the act of sex.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of anything like that?
Again, it's what's pertinent to you. I think the more you feel you're open to something and more you protect yourself from something, you actually bring that in. I remember years ago when I first got into energy practices, I would do protections around entities. And when I actually stopped believing I needed protection from those, they didn't show up anymore. And I'm not saying there's not entities, and I'm not saying aren't these things, because there absolutely are. But it's, what are you placing your importance on? What are you actually defining it as? Because again, you already have the answer within you. Maybe that is what is for you. But instead of looking outside as, oh, someone's telling me this, so, oh, that must be it. What if you actually look inside and say, okay, what is this actually for me? And where do I go? Who do I talk to? What piece of information, what do I need to hear? Again, we have access to all of life, so it could be a book that falls off of a shelf, or you overhear a conversation, or you're led to a call like this and you hear one piece of information that's like, that's for me. Exactly. So instead of buying into someone else's idea, whether it's right for you or not, what if you start to look inside, because you already have the answer on what it is for you.
Perfect answer. Could I have set you up any better than that? Well, Sophia, do you have anything else that you would like to add before we go?
Just again, it's so important to have this energy for yourself and for your life. If you feel you're blocked, don't stay there. Reach out to someone, whether it's me, whether it's someone else. Actually follow where you're led, because the universe is giving you kind of a map to open your energy. And if you don't follow it, you're not accessing it, you're not fully living. If you knew what to do, or if you're not following through on what you already know to do, there's a block there. So that's why we need other people to actually see what we can't see. I often tell clients, I was like, it's like you're looking in a front-facing mirror and you're like, oh, does my butt look good in these jeans? You can't see. You can't see. We don't have the 360-degree objective vision of what's happening, because you're in the pattern, you're in the habit, you're in kind of this energetic field, whereas someone else who's objective can see exactly what it is for you to step out of it. So if you feel like you're stuck in this moment, if you're having that space of struggle or the lackluster, settling kind of life, reach out to someone, because your life depends on it.
Okay, so how can our viewers get in touch with you?
So my website is nurturingdivinebeauty.com. You can reach out to me that way if you feel like you resonate, if you feel like I may have a piece of information for you. I'm happy to do a free, complimentary, just break-free session with you, so that you know what's stopping you, and you know what the next piece is for you to step out of that. You can also reach me on Facebook, Nurturing Divine Beauty, or my personal page, Sophia Leva-Marie, and Instagram as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sophia. I am so happy for this interaction today, more than you know.
It was perfect. It was perfect. And yes, I'm so happy we got to, and thank you for inviting me again. And thank you, listeners, for coming to play with us in this space.
Yay! Okay, Sophia, we'll have to do it again. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I would love that. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for checking in. And thank you again, Sophia. Much love. Namaste.
Ciao.
Bye, everybody.